Hi, Mom. I just got the family settlement. I wanted to record a quick video to try to help make some understanding of it for me personally. Maybe some things that you can talk to David about as the executor since you just got it, and kind of just give me a chance to get whatever I have in my mind out and whatever's on my chest, get it off my chest. Because I see some things that were a little bit surprising to me, for lack of a better word. And I just wanted to share. This will probably be a 10-minute video. I'll try to keep it short. As I look through it, I was really glad for all the definitions in the front and spelling everything out. I think in order to help you understand and help us all be on the same page, that it's good for us to openly dialogue about this. And I could type a whole bunch, but sometimes what's written down gets misinterpreted, and my tone can probably come across the wrong way and things that are typed, especially if there's something that I disagree with in how I list it. So making a video, upload it to YouTube, send it out to you, CC everybody else, so that we can have full transparency and communication. I think that that's helpful. I also found this summary of independent administration in Texas. I think this is primarily for the executor, but I saw some deadlines that just came up, and I was wondering if they had been done. Not necessarily for me to know, but definitely for you to know if they had been done, like within 90 days of qualification, file the inventory, appraisement, and list of claims. So I don't know if that's been done, or within the 60 days, give notice of filing for probate, certified mail to everybody. So there's some things in there. It'd just be kind of cool if we saw a checklist, oh, yep, that's been done, that's been done, that's been done for you. And then you can share that with us and increase communication, help the family out. Because I think that is helpful in the grieving process to know that we're getting close to it almost being done and everything else. So I made the video and explained how I thought the will made sense, and I think that maybe I wasn't off, but I wasn't really corrected in the things that I said. One of the things I'd point out in the will, section 8.5, it says, except as otherwise provided, the gift to my wife in section 2.2 intended to entitle my estate to the maximum marital deduction, and any provision in my will which conflicts with or fail of this intention shall be either disregarded or else shall be reconciled to accomplish this objective. So I think that the confusion here is, at least for me, is where the 50% comes in. I have no idea where there's a half in the will, and I've been looking for it. And once again, I'll say that in the following months, I didn't have the time or the mental energy to look at this. 5 months later, I have more time, or I'm making more time, and I'm carving out, I do have the mental energy to just read it at face value and see that it says, I give to my trustee in trust to be administered pursuant of the Article 4 such amount of property as will be equal to the maximum marital deduction, which I think we've determined is 11 million. Based on the inventory that I think you saw, it's 5 million. So all of everything should go to you. And I wanted to lay that out before I go into this section 2 of the proposed family settlement, because I think that that's pretty important. It also says this marital deduction gift shall be reduced by the amount, if any, needed to increase my taxable estate as determined for federal estate tax purposes to the largest amount possible without incurring any federal estate tax. And the way this can be interpreted, I think, is that the marital deduction gift can be reduced to zero in order to allow the largest possible amount that doesn't incur federal estate tax. So as I was reading through this, I think that if that is the interpretation and the marital deduction gift is reduced to zero because you don't need a marital deduction in order to avoid federal estate tax, then everything except for what's in 2.1 would go into the residuary estate, which would go into the family trust, and therefore there would be no marital deduction trust. So there's either no marital deduction trust because the amount of the marital deduction gift is reduced to zero to increase the taxable estate to the largest amount possible without incurring federal estate tax. I'm reading the very last two lines there. Or the marital deduction gift is the maximum over $5 million, which means there is no money left over for the residual estate. So therefore there's no family trust. So it seems like there's one or the other based on the language here. And as I read through the family settlement, getting down to 2.4, it starts talking about the residuary estate. The residuary estate was distributed to the Johns Family Trust in accordance with the provisions of Article 5. So it says that, and then it goes into, whereas Mr. John Sr. residuary estate included a community 12 or a half interest in the following areas, and he lists all these things in the property. So I don't think that whereas is true. I don't understand how it's being interpreted in the will, especially since 2.1 says I give her all, that's 100%, not half, that's a full, of my interest in any automobiles, clothing, jewelry, household goods, furniture and furnishings, other articles of personal use or ornament, and other personal effects of a nature, use, or classification similar to the foregoing, everything that's listed there. So what's listed in the family settlement that supposedly goes into the residuary estate, which shouldn't include anything in 2.1, is the vehicles consisting of a 2004 H2 Hummer, 2007 Tiffin Zypher Class A motorhome, 2006 Mercedes E55 AMG, and 2017 Ford F-150 Platinum, and a 2012 F450 Tiger, and a 2017 Toyota Camry. So why are these things listed, all these vehicles, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vehicles listed as whereas included in residuary estate, a half interest, when clearly in 2.1 it says I give her all of my interest in any automobiles. So that's a pretty gross deviation from Dad's will in this family trust, and I just wonder if that's what you wanted, Mom, because I thought you wanted the family settlement for your reasons. So I wanted to make sure that what you're communicating is being understood. That was the big thing. And it says, whereas Mrs. Johns retained her 1/2 community property interest in the property, it isn't stated in the will that you would get half of anything. It says all. It says maximum marital deduction, and it says all. So I don't know where the half is coming in, and I think, once again, the will needs to be read chronologically from 2 on. Article 1 needs to be read before Article 2, and then 2 before 3, and 3 before 4, 4 before 5. And then when you get to the administrative provisions here in Article 8, it says that the gift in 2.2 intended to entitle my estate to the maximum marital deduction, and any provision in my will which may conflict with or fail this intention, either disregarded or else reconciled to achieve that objective. To benefit my wife, a qualified terminal interest pursuant of that. So, and it says, if my wife is serving as my executor, she shall be free to determine whether or not to make such election, as all or part of such a gift and is her sole discretion. So that part about it being Mom's sole discretion to make such determination in her own individual best interest, free from any fiduciary obligations. I think that's huge. So I think that's a good caveat to talk about. And I just don't know where the will says that she retained her 1/2 of community property interest. It does say on 2.8 that the parties desire and agree to an alternate distribution of the property. It seems like this distribution of the property isn't alternate from what is being interpreted by Jim Dawsey and David as the will. It seems like it's kind of in line with what their interpretation of the will is. So unless their interpretation of the will is alternate from what the will explicitly says, which would be an issue. So I went over 10 minutes. There's 11 minutes there. It does say the executor shall make personal properties distributed under Article 2.1 of the last will and testament. I think that 3.2 should be listed. All of those should be named. So where it says all my interest in automobiles, clothing, jewelry, household goods, furniture, it should all be listed. And I think that it's important to note that all the vehicles are listed under 2.5, saying that it's the residuary estate. So the guns and related equipment, that's articles of personal use. That's 2.1. That's not residual estate. The coin collection, that's also personal effects of a nature, use, or classification, similar to foregoing. That's not residuary estate. And then ranch equipment, that's personal use, once again. The only thing that isn't included in 2.1 are bank accounts and the homes. So, but I think under Texas law, the homes already go to mom. I don't think they need to be put in the residuary estate or a trust. And then Murphy Shipping, that's not listed in the will. I don't think that is included in the residuary estate either. So, but I could be wrong, and I think that, I'm open to being wrong. I just wonder why the half value of the ranch or trust, I don't even know what that means, 1/2 the interest in assets 3.3 above, because it says the ranch and it says half the interest. So I don't understand why that is listed. So I personally am not comfortable signing any kind of agreement that divides the value of the place that mom is living in half and tries to put half of that in an account. I don't know how that works. I don't think it makes sense. I think that the ranch should just be in mom's name, and I think she should be free to do with what she wants per Section 8 that says it's her sole discretion. I do believe that, she's getting, Mom, you're getting older. I meant to keep talking to you instead of about you in this video, but I think it's wise for us to give you advice and for us to collaborate together. I think wisdom's found in a multitude of counselors, and I think that we can be good counselors for each other. I think that we have each other's best interests. I think we've known each other longer than other people, and I hope that we can continue to work together in all of this. So now that I have that off my chest, now that I've recorded my thoughts on the family settlement and going back to the will, and I've described all that, I'll hit upload, get it on YouTube, and send it to you, Mom, and CC everybody else so everybody can know what my thoughts are. And I hope it works. Love you. Bye.